Welcome back. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the stages of seeing the spiritual eye, what you can expect, and that will give you an idea of what is to come. So then when it comes, you can recognize it more easily. So stick around. The thing that I realized about the spiritual eye is that it is light, right? And so every time you look at a light, it's gonna be a little bit different. And the spiritual eye is no different. In fact, it's different every single time that I see it. Now there are stages and things that we can recognize, we can piece it together. It doesn't become so mysterious, right? But it is different every single time because it's a light. It's you're looking back into your own nervous system. That's all it is. It's just your own nervous system. The Om is your own nerves vibrating, and you are listening to it. And you're not just listening to the beginning sounds, you're listening to the whole sounds, and that's what creates the Om. And the spiritual eye is the same way. When you finally begin to see the actual spiritual eye, it may start out as a deepening darkness in the center of your vision. So one of the names of the spiritual eye, you probably know this, is Brahmari Guha, which means cave of honey, or cave filled with honey. And so when you first see it, that may be exactly what it looks like. It may look like a deepening darkness, like a cave. Like you're in the night and you suddenly see a cave, and it's a darker space in your vision. Okay? So that might be the first thing you see. And this is not linear. It could be all over the place. But I'm going to present it to you in a linear fashion so it can kind of make sense. You can kind of figure out how it can possibly progress for you. Now, the second thing you might see is you might see the beginning of a rim of light, and it might be a whitish or a goldish or a yellowish for you. And that will eventually turn into a whole circle of white or yellow or gold. So it might be like a half moon, or a bottom half of a moon, or this side of the moon or that side of the moon. It can kind of peel off on one side. That's very, very normal. So that's the second thing you might see. Third thing you might see is you might see that whole thing. It might be white, it might be yellow, or it might be brilliant, fiery gold. Okay. Quick story. This is my favorite story. Jason and the Agronauts. Jason is told that he is a prince, and to become king, he must go and fetch the golden fleece. The golden fleece, right? So he gets in an ark, which is the ark of your own skull. And he travels with 50 heroes, which if you take out the 0 reduces to 5. And that's how mythology works. If it's 50, it actually means 5. He gets in the ark with 5 heroes. Do you know another story with 5 heroes? I do. It's called the Mahabharata, or the Bhagavad Gita. The Pandava brothers. There are 5 of them. Same story. So Jason travels with the Agronauts, the 5 heroes, in an ark. And he goes on a long adventure, and he finally winds up at the crashing rocks, right? Which are symbolic of the 2 frontalis bones in the forehead. And they are open up for a second and then close. And they open up in a second and then close, which is your own breath. As you breathe in, this sinus fills and it expands that point momentarily. So the heroes follow a white dove through the crushing rocks, and they make it through, and they immediately get to shore and set up an altar and pray to Apollo, the god of the sun, right? And he appears to them with a golden flowing mane. That is, his hair was golden and flowing like the sun. It's all a metaphor. It's all your spiritual eye. Every Greek myth that you've heard all relates to meditation. It's all meditation. Mount Olympus is us. When we sit to meditate, we are the mountain. And this is Olympus, the top of Olympus, where the gods live, right? Okay, so first it's a cave, then it might be a half moon or a half moon, and then finally it's you start to see the whole thing, right? And it's this brilliant gold. And after that, the gold might possibly disappear, and you will see just a beautiful, deep, beautiful indigo or purplish blue, okay? And there's a feeling to that. That color is deeply associated with the limbic brain and the theta brainwave, and you might feel some of that in that blue. Then you might see the brilliant gold and the blue, the deep, deep blue, together at the same time. And that might fluctuate back and forth. One time you might see the gold, the next time you might see the blue, next time you might see both, okay? Then finally, you might see just that cave again, and this time you'll see a white star or a tiny white dot. And then that white dot may get bigger, the white star might get bigger, and you might see the star and the blue together. And then you might see the gold ring, the outer golden ring, and you might see inside of it just the white star. And then finally, you might see the gold, the blue, and the star in the center. And then you might go into it a little more. It might expand for you, and you might see a larger white star. And in that cave, right? You don't have to go through it, by the way. Just being in it is plenty. In that cave, things may come to you. Messages may come to you. So those are the stages of seeing the spiritual eye. Those are approximations of what you might see. So I want to give you an idea so that when these things start happening to you, you can kind of have an understanding of what the progression might be and what your experience might be, so that you can feel comfortable and relaxed in all of it and just sit back and enjoy. All right, I hope this was valuable for you guys. Take care, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.